Hi, I'm Matthew Parker and I'm the champion of print. How much time does your company spend on new sales? Now, whether you're a salesperson or a CEO or a manager, I'd like you to carry out this next exercise for me. I'd like you to either, if you're a salesperson, write down your sales activity for the day, or if you're a manager, get your salespeople to write down their activity for the day. I think you might be surprised, even if you're the salesperson carrying out what you do, you might be surprised at the results. And you may also be a bit horrified at the results. Because the fact is, most people and most companies don't spend enough time on new sales. The truth is, actually, we all like to spend time in our comfort zones. And for the average salesperson, their comfort zone is looking after and servicing their current customers. After all, they don't want to lose that current business, so they do everything they can to make sure that that customer has a good experience. The trouble is, perhaps they like that a little bit too much. They're going out and searching for new customers, picking up the phone or having a meeting with someone you haven't met before. That can be a little bit scary at times. Here's a story about one company that I worked with, and they had a great sales force. Their customers couldn't say enough nice things about them. But you know what? Every time there was a business card, there'd be a salesperson in the car taking the proof out to the customer for the customer to see it. They'd pick up the artwork from the customer. They'd go into the customer to discuss every possible element of the job at all times. So they spent their whole times in their cars going to visit their current customers. So they didn't have time for new sales. But if you're going out and taking a proof of a business card to someone, how much money is that losing your company? It's time to really focus on making time for new sales. Now, I get that that's scary for a lot of people, and I get that perhaps we have to put some systems in place. And there's a very simple one I have. If you're a full-time salesperson, I'd like you to spend 4 hours a week making contact with new people. That doesn't sound very much, does it? That's the task that they should have. If you've got a job that's more than sales, maybe that's going to be a little bit tricky, but everyone has time to find 2 hours a week where they can do something new. Here's a question for you. I'm sure that nearly all of you go out from time to time and visit a client. And what happens to that long list of things that you have to do? What happens to your company while you're out for that 60 minutes, 2 hours, morning, a day? Your company doesn't fall apart. Things go on. If there's something really urgent, someone else sorts it out. If it's not that urgent, I'm still waiting there for you when you return. So having an hour out from your normal day-to-day job doesn't stop things happening. Too many people are worried that they can't turn off their phones, they can't go out for a meeting because something will happen on a job and they need to be there to sort it out. It's okay. You can afford to be away from your company. So if you make that time, what are you going to do with that time? Here's 3 quick suggestions to kickstart getting some more new customers in. Firstly, contact your lapsed customers, the customers who stopped working with you. Because so often I find in companies, when I work with people, they've not followed up on why customers have moved away. We've seen the business drop off from the customer and we've let them go. A few months afterwards, it's worth contacting that customer. Yes, they may have gone out of business. They may have stopped using print. But maybe they're not getting the results that they want because they have stopped using print. They may have gone to the competition. And maybe they're not having the right experience with the competition. And if you contact them, maybe they'll come back to you. You'd be surprised how many people do come back to you if you contact them when you thought that all was lost and that they were a lapsed customer. The next thing you can do is to carry out some more referrals. I've talked to you about referrals in a previous video, and you can see all my tips in that. But go out and contact your current customers, your current network. See if they know people that they can introduce you to who could become new customers. And finally, make some time to go to events where your customers hang out. We're all very good at going to print shows and networking with our own industry, but how much time do we spend going out to customer events, to conferences, to exhibitions, where you're going to find your customers hanging out? Spend some time doing that as well. So if you want to get going with this, There's one thing you should do straight away, and that's to make a note in your diary of when you're going to have these 2 1-hour slots in the next week. And then make sure that you do have those slots and you carry out that new sales time. Now, some of you will tell me that there's far too much pressure on in the office, that you can't possibly do this because people will start interrupting you. Here's a story I had from a salesperson that I work with, and he suffered from just that problem. Every time he was in the office, someone would walk by with a production problem. So I got him to walk out of the office and to go to the car park. And he sat in his car for 60 minutes and made calls, and no one interrupted him. He got a lot of work done that way and started winning new clients again. So let's go back to that first question I asked you at the beginning of this video. How much time does your company spend on new sales? It's probably not enough, but if you put this simple strategy into practice, you could start winning quite a few new clients. I wish you success with winning those new customers.